All right, we'll go right there. Smalkine. What does that mean?
So Smalkine is a term that we use in Hawaii, basically meaning not a big deal, just being humble about something. So if it is a big deal or something like that, we'll just say, Smalkine. So that's just a term that we use in trying to mitigating something that's big but small.
All right. And so why did you use that?
So I knew at some point I would probably be a big deal, but just trying to keep it very humble. I just wanted something of a term of Hawaii that I can relate to, and because I started out small, right? And I'm, to some people, I might still be small. So, like for me, I still think I'm small. You know, I can continue to grow.
But you knew you were going to be a big deal.
At some point, yes.
So humble of you to say that.
Yes, at some point.
All right. No, I get it.
Oh, there you go.
So you
guys, the record.
You guys met at Grey Goose?
No, we met at one of the shows, like some fashion show, right?
Met.
It was.
Did we?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't Texas. It wasn't TFII. It was at another.
It wasn't
show.
Models of Texas show?
No.
Yeah, it felt like I already knew you, though. I remember that when we met. I can't remember what the first time was, though, that we...
All I know is, and I want to be able to say this, is I'm a big fan, right?
He
and
did
I say
tell
it
me that about
I'm a big fan of Greg.
He did tell me that.
I've learned so much with Photoshop. Like, just from this guy right here, he puts out some amazing things, some amazing tips. And sometimes he does it too quick where I have to rewind it and rewatch it all the time. But he put out some great content, some great tips, especially on photoshopping. And that was before I really knew what I was doing. I know what I was doing, but just didn't know how to do certain things. And Photoshop can be very intimidating if you don't know what you're doing. And I think now more so that I've been using it and then really utilizing the capability to streamline your editing process of utilizing AI. Now that Lightroom's got the new feature as far as taking out things out your background versus importing it into Photoshop. So it kind of streamlines your editing process. This guy, I'm a big fan, and ever since I started seeing his work, oh man, how does he do that? I've just been a big fan, and then to meet him in person, is crazy. So it's like one of my idols in content creation and editing, and then to know him personally now, so it's amazing.
I appreciate that. I'm terrible at taking compliments. By the way,
I'm like you too. He doesn't
I'm
like
you.
it
I'm just I'm not that great. It's just
you're small, kind of big deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's secret Evoto AI.
Yeah,
I don't work for them. They don't pay me any money yet.
Exactly.
Right. I don't know if you've tried it, but it's
Yeah.
Wait.
It was talk about streamlining your work.
You said what was it?
It's called Evoto AI. It's
Do you
a program.
know that?
Yeah, I heard of them.
I think you need to.
I've never used it. But I've seen videos, and it's wow.
Yeah, I haven't gotten away from the Adobe ecosystem. I still use Lightroom to just bring everything in, catalog it, do my basic edit for exposure, highlight shadows, sharpening, and then if there's anything I need to do with skin or background cleanup, I go into Evoto, hit a button, and it does it for me.
Yeah, so I have a few. I have a few panels that I do that. And
in
it's
Photoshop.
And it's just makes your work so much easier.
Yeah,
and I love it. And so it's AI can be a good thing and a bad thing, right? Depending on how you.
Sometimes it's too much,
right? Yeah. But if you use it for the right reasons and you're using it to streamline your work, in many cases, just taking out things that don't need to be in the picture, and it streamlines your work that much quicker than doing the traditional way that I used to see how you used to do it. And it's like, man, like, what did he just do? Like, now it's like really like a click of a couple of buttons and, and it's like, voila, like, wow.
I still got to go into Photoshop though and do stuff.
Of course.
I haven't completely left, but I used to struggle in Photoshop. I mean, we all sucked at one time. We're all bad at what we do, but exactly what you said. I would follow people in Photoshop and be like, "Damn it, slow down!" I have to go back and be like, "What did he just do?" And then I would forget. He would create some layer, or they would forget to tell you that they created some new layer, right? And you're just left going, "I did exactly what he said, and it didn't do the same thing. What happened?" So. When I do my videos, I try to go slow. Sometimes it's so second nature that I go fast, but I try to remember when I was learning and how people feel as they're following me. Am I going too fast? Do I need to kind of reiterate what I'm talking about for people? Because I remember the struggle,
Right.
And so now that I'm teaching to a certain extent, I want to make sure that other people don't struggle as much, so.
No,
it's good.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that.
No, I just remember him saying like, "Oh man, I ran into, and I'm such a big fan," and then he actually knew who I was. So
now I'm trying to remember where it was. I'll think of it later, though.
I think that's the really amazing thing about, I don't know if in the photography field, if it's like that with everyone, but so far everyone that Lee is connected with within the shows or just seeing them out and about, I can't say that there's been any one particular person that he's ever came to me and said, man, this guy was just so like into himself. Like, it just seems like you guys are all willing to like share with one another as well as just support each other. So I think that that's really unique. And I love that, at least in this space, and everyone that he's so far connected with is very supportive of each other. And I think that's like really cool.
And it's funny that she said that, because I get other folks, just like how I gave you your kudos. I get folks and that says the same thing. Like, man, I'm a big fan. I love seeing your work. Like, you keep me like wanting to strive more or think outside the box. I mean, because you just do so much, like just different stuff. And every time I hit my IG, I'm always seeing your work, and I'm like, oh man, appreciate it. You know what I mean? But I don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's just me.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's cool to hear that, but like,
that's just what I do. I don't think
that's
I'm
what I do. Right,
any better than anybody else.
Right.
And
there's
people that are a lot better than me.
That's what he says too.
And I say the same thing, and I'm like,
people a lot better with a lot more experience, making a lot more money, that have been doing it a lot longer than me. But I appreciate that.
So
there's
do you
different
know,
levels.
Yeah. Do you know that he has interns also? That he coaches, mentors, and teaches models and photographers.
Yeah, I have one intern, assistant intern. Yeah.
How many do you have now, Lee?
Well, you had the one guy I met.
Shakar.
Yeah,
I brought him to Shakar, but I think now, like, I want to say like about 8.
Jeez, how you get
7 or 8?
They see his work, they reach out to him, and Lee's always willing to take that time to help anyone that is interested in in the photography
a lot
field.
Of times they don't know how to get into the space.
Yeah.
And so, especially like doing runway fashion shows, working with brands, things like that, like they're new, just wanting to get in and then kind of see what it's about, or they just need some experience in shooting content, portraits, things like that. And I always tell them, first things first, you got to know your equipment. One thing, you got to get to know your equipment. But like with all the things that I've got going on, sometimes they just don't see what we see. And so I share a lot of castings, things like that with them in the group. And so they have that opportunity, whether they want to do it or they don't have to do it. And then working with Models of Texas, Texas Swim Fest, they have that chance to be there with me and then learning the production side, working, shooting. And then if they model, possibly they can get in. But I mean, they still have to cast. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But just content wise, like if I need, hey, I want to do something crazy, this weekend, anybody available, I can reach out to my group and,
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know how you have the time to take on all of that. Like I have one, and I don't have the time. Now I have a 9 to 5 still, so I'm not into this full time like you are either. Right. But the 9 to 5 just
I don't know,
the
Greg,
soul out of me.
Right.
I don't know what it is. I just keep myself busy, and I don't know why I continue to do that. But I need to be busy.
Same here, but I get to the point when I get too busy, it starts feeling like work. And then I don't enjoy it as much. I'm just tired. But
I get that too.
I can't leave my 9 to 5 until I retire. I've been there too long. But there's
And it's funny that you mentioned that because there was a time. So like when we lived in Hawaii, Lee was he was doing both, and COVID happened. As we all know, COVID kind of shifted gears for a lot of us, right? We had to pivot and we had to figure out another way to do things, many things, right? And that was like the time that Lee was trying to make that decision. Do I do this full time? Do I go back to my 9 to 5? Well, they kind of made it easy for him because they furloughed him. So
oh wow, okay.
It was like, we're going to make this even easier for you. So I just told him, I said, that's just, your way of knowing you're doing what you need to be doing.
Your sign,
There's your sign. Like if you were looking for a sign, there it is. And so he went full time with it. And then I was still active duty military at the time. So, the money wasn't really an issue for him to concern himself with because, as a man, we all know the sense of responsibility. You guys feel like you're oblagated to, right?
Be the breadwinner, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't really have to worry about that because...
I'd be fine with that. I'd be like, honey.
Yeah, he had his retirement, pension and whatnot. So he still had that going for him. And I was like, just do it. Just figure it out. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Like, continue doing it. This is what you want to do. You gave a part of yourself already up for 24 years.
Yeah.
You gave to the military. You did what someone else wanted for you to do. Now it's time for you to take that same passion that's inside of you that you gave to others and push your own self into what you want to do. So when we came to San Antonio...
Wait, why did you come to San Antonio? Why did you leave
Hawaii? I know. Well, we have a big family, and there was a lot of discussion on whether we stay on the island or if we come to the States. So financially, it just made sense for us to come to San Antonio because of all of the military benefits. And Lee also was like, I can do no more here on the island. Like, I've shot everywhere you could possibly shoot. I have maximized this canvas.
It's literally on an island.
Yes. He pretty much he had gone, because we also had a hiking group, so we used to go to all the different like views and mountains and all the...
And people say, why would you leave Hawaii? It's like if you were born there, it's like anything else. It's not that big of a deal. It's like people coming to... Probably a bad analogy, but people coming to San Antonio, they're like, the Riverwalk is awesome. And if you live here, you're like, I never go down there.
So much bugs.
But it's
so
similar.
high.
It's definitely similar. So wherever you're, born and raised at, you take your own state for granted.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a tourism state, you take it for granted. And, me being born and raised in Hawaii, I didn't do a lot of the things that most tourists would go to Hawaii to do. And so when we had the chance to go back while in the military, we took advantage of that. Yeah. And even then, I didn't really take advantage of it until I went on a weight loss journey. And that's when we started the hiking group. Now that's about, 10,000 folks deep now and still going on in Hawaii. So I have some leaders that are continuing to run it, and which is doing amazing. And so, we took advantage of that, and so we had to. I didn't say we had to leave, but because we had a big family, we decided amongst 3 states to choose from. I mean, we could have went anywhere, but we chose San Antonio, Texas, out of all the other cities because I felt like San Antonio has the lesser of natural disasters, or storms and things of that nature,
yes.
which is true, right?
I've thought about that too.
You know what I mean? So
you go a little bit north, and you're going to get hit by a tornado, right? But
so it was either here, Arizona, or even in Colorado Springs, and she didn't like the cold, so it was like, okay, either Arizona or here. Yeah. She was from Arizona, so it was like, okay, so Texas.
All right.
And so that's how we decided to choose San Antonio, and I think we made the best decision. We love it. And truthfully, Greg, this is where I soared in my in photography and video. I went from here to like up here because the different backdrops, canvases that you can shoot, all the opportunities all came from here. And that's by networking. Like, you really got to network and putting yourself out there and putting yourself where you want to go, but you got to have that vision, right? You got to have that vision, you got to have them goals, and then you got to act on it. So
and the other photography groups too that you linked up with, but I think ultimately
that's true.
Yeah, I think ultimately Models of Texas was where you really started to grow the most.
But I'm going to put a shout out to Shutterpoint. Yeah. Adam, amazing job for that group out there, and SA Creatives. Those two groups, I've networked with some amazing photographers, videographers through that group, and really because of them is how I started networking and learning San Antonio, and just going to those groups and then started meeting models, and then I linked up with Santi before we started Models of Texas, and that just went crazy from that point. But yeah, that's how we moved from Hawaii to here, and it's less expensive.
Here a couple years,
almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
About 2 years now.
No, it's been over 2 years. In April was 2 years.
Okay, yeah, about 2. See, it goes so fast.
How long have you been with Models of Texas? Were you there from the beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, from the beginning, and still with Models of Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So don't you have an official title now? Are you director of photography?
So I'm the media director for Models of Texas. So pretty much just really in charge of the media when we do shows moving forward. And then Rob, Porch by Rob is the second in lead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've known Rob. I used to do some meetups.
Oh, really?
Before you ever got here, probably. I don't know how long it's been, but I'll have to go back and look when those were. I did 3 or 4 of them, where I met a lot of people, and Rob was one of them. He came out. I think he came out to every one of them.
Wow.
Jason.
X Photography.
No, not Jason X. Jason. Jason.Allen. J.Allen Photography.
Oh yeah. Another amazing photographer.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Caesar Baez.
Caesar
was in that group.
Thanks.
And a lot of good people that I met and models through that group. So
you ever gonna bring those back? Bring it back?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've gotten to where I feel like studio is where I excel. Right. I do get a little bit. It's difficult to make things look different in the studio. That's a challenge, right? Whereas outside, you can just go to a different location, right? And it looks different.
Right.
So that's the challenge in the studio, but that's where I excel. I feel like when I go outdoors, it levels out the playing field a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you're doing amazing in video. Because you wasn't doing video before.
No, that's the thing about Instagram. You can say what you like about them.
Right.
With their algorithm, all that. Everybody's complaining about them. But if you think about it, photographers, most of us didn't do video.
No.
Right? There was photographers and there was videographers.
Right. Either do one or the other, right?
You did one or the other.
Right.
And what Instagram did is said, we're going to promote video more than we are photos.
Right.
And if you want to continue to be relevant on this platform or even TikTok, right? If you want to be relevant on these platforms, you're going to have to do video.
Right.
And so that's what I did. I learned video. I didn't know the damnedest thing about editing a video, right? And I remember saying, how could someone be so good at photography and be so bad at video? Like, I'm horrible at it, right? I was really bad at it, and you just have to.
You get better, though.
YouTube University.
That's
and
it.
And I thought to myself, well, I learned photography from YouTube, basically.
Right. think we all attended the same university.
Yeah, and all do the same thing with video. And there's just a few basic principles you need to know. Yeah. And it's just like getting into manual and photography, your shutter angle and all that. You get to know those things. Maybe you don't have to shoot a picture profile like log on Sony or whatever. You can, that'll come later. Color grading and all that. Yes. I hate color grading. I just do not like to. I don't even do it in my photography. Yeah. I just up the,
No, I feel you.
I don't know. So I just shoot like S-Cinetone.
I mean, I do, but yeah. But it's people always ask.
I do it a little bit, but
so people always ask like, why don't you specialize in like one thing? And my reply is always, but why? Why limit myself? I want to do everything and everything. So when I came from Hawaii, that's why I did underwater shoots. I try to do whatever it is that I think I can do, I'll try to do it, or I'll do it. And so that's why I do everything from weddings to birthdays to underwater shots to, you name it, I think I've done it.
Mermaids.
Yeah. I mean, so I've done it, and.
Tub Paradise, Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Tub Paradise.
Yeah, Tub Paradise TX on Instagram, right? Is that still going?
It is.
Okay.
It is, but just like everything else, if I focus,
right.
Whatever my focus is, it takes away from other areas.
You gotta
but
have that balance.
It is open. Tub Paradise is a tropical Hawaiian experience tub setting in our backyard, actually. And we decorate it to basically, it's a thing that they do in the tropical islands like Hawaii. And, it's just one of those concepts where you can sit in it and you put flowers, you can do milk baths. You can do so much. Maternity. You can do so much in a tub in a little bit of space. And you don't necessarily have to have a tub. You can have a pool if you wanted to.
Right.
A kiddie pool at that, and then just decorate it, all around. So there's so much that you can do. And so nobody was doing that here. So I was like, you know what? I'm bringing that little bit of Hawaii experience, and I'm bringing it to San Antonio. And
can you tell he gets bored really fast?
Yeah, but here's the thing I caught up on. This is lesson number 3 was, why are you going to limit yourself to doing one thing, right? Yep. Now, there's different takes on that. People say you need to be a specialist, right, on something to really make the money. I need to be a specialist in headshots. That's my thing. That's where I'm going to make the money. But I tend to agree with you where, I'm in the information technology field, right? And so we have what's called service offerings. And we have different service offerings that we offer our clients, and we don't offer them just one thing. We offer them this whole set of services. Right. And so if you apply that now to what you do in a creative field, no matter what it is, the more service offerings you have, the more opportunity you have to attract more clients, right, and make more money.
Yeah.
And you're so correct. And hence why my website has an array of different services that I offer. So I don't want to limit myself, because then I'm limiting the opportunities that are out there. And so I want to be able to say, if a customer or a client asks me, hey, are you able to do this? I want to be able to say yes.
Well, there's a flip side to that. What if you end up, suppose you hate doing maternity, for example. And I like maternity. I think it's cool, some of the shots that they do in those maternity shots. What if you hate doing that, and then that's what you're getting all the time? Those are all there in your, God, I hate maternity shots, right?
He doesn't really like kids.
Okay, so I think...
Right, kids and dog. Like, I don't want to shoot your dog, and I don't want to shoot your kids. I love my kids, but I don't love your kids.
Yeah, kids are hard.
Your kids are probably great, but,
So I'm going to flip that around. So say I get a lot of weddings. I don't particularly like to do weddings, although the money is great, which I have a couple of coming up. But the money is great, but that's not where I can utilize my creativity.
Right.
And I'm a very creative person, and I want to, in a way, I kind of want to have that command and control. And once that command and control is not there, and I have to act or do what that client, demands, or whatever the case may be, and let's say they're not happy with it, you know what I mean? You're going to have that. And so, I'll do everything. I'll do whatever it is, but I don't particularly particularly like it. You know, I rather do all the other creativeness.
Yeah, he likes more concepts. He loves doing different concept ideas. I have a question though for both of you. One being particularly, I know this is for Lee and for myself, but because you do mostly studio work, right? What would you say is the most challenging with your models when you're shooting them?
The most challenging is shooting with non-models.
That is very challenging.
Yes,
do you pose for them like Lee does?
Sometimes
he turns himself into a girl.
And I always say, I know it looks funny when I do it, but just try
I say the
it.
same thing.
And it gets a good laugh. It sort of breaks the ice, you know.
Do this, suck it in, push it out.
I say the same thing.
Girls love it when he he has to become the female version of what he wants for them to say.
I have one client, Queen Eileen, official
I know her.
singer, right?
Yep.
We have a joke. It's suck it in. I'm always telling her, suck it in. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, I like that. So every time she'll post something, I'll make a comment and I'll tell her to suck it in. You know, so yeah, I mean, I think most photographers, probably the hardest, a lot of them will say the hardest part of photography is not the actual photography, it's the other elements like posing is one of them, where a lot of photographers struggle. So I would say if you have the photography stuff down, then go back to YouTube University and look at every posing video you can, right? And keep watching them over and over and over. And I'm still bad at it. If I'm being honest, I'm not bad, but I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time to really get good to where to get the angles that you want to see. You know, a lot of it is about just twisting the torso a little bit, getting the circuit, because a lot of people that even models, they don't know their lines, right?
Nope.
And you got to find that good angle. And I find myself sometimes just moving
yourself
45 degrees from it to see if that's the angle, and then I'll have them turn, you know, to where I want to see them. But that's the most challenging, I think, is probably what you have to watch out for if you just shoot with models and they're good models. You don't have to worry about it, and then you get no experience teaching people how to pose.
Right. And so and everything that you said is correct, and I agree with you. But like anything else, you're only going to get better as you continue to do it over, watch those YouTube videos, do it over, and continue to do it. And so for me, I open up a lot of things that I do because I want to get better at certain things. And so the more that I do it, like the easier it gets. But that's where you gain that experience and you continue to do it. And so, so I think sometimes I do too much. But
So you don't ever have the problem of models not showing up on time?
I don't want to say I don't ever. I have one or two that are always habitually late, and I can plan on them being late.
Yeah, because I know that's a discussion that we will have often is I value your time, you should value my time, right? And so that's a lot of times where Lee and I will go back and forth because he'll accept the lateness, and I'm like, you need to put it in some way, some form of like there's going to be some kind of action to follow that, because you want to teach them that it's unprofessional.
Punctuality is important, right?
Yeah. And if they're doing it to him, they're going to do it on their casting calls, they're going to do it on their shoots, to their runways, to everything, right? And so I know it's a challenge for him. How do you professionally still be able to balance out that time factor, especially when you have back-to-back shoots, right? So I don't really know like how you go about doing it.
Yeah, that's a problem. You know, if I've got a back-to-back shoot and then their shoot ends when it ends.
Exactly.
Right, because I've got someone else coming in, you know. That's their problem, not mine.
It just shorts up their time.
Exactly. But I come out, I'm on time. I'm early.
Right, and that's what he said. The photographers, like we
usually
notice.
are.
He's like, the photographers are always early.
Yeah, media is always early, and I noticed that, like, even with
to
the
doing the
shows,
recons, you guys are always out there
Well,
early.
yeah, I mean, it's part of the deal.
Right.
You got to check out how's the light.
Right, exactly.
What's going on here? I don't want to have to figure it out while I'm shooting,
Right.
So, the models got to get ready and they got to do their thing. And so they're doing that ahead of time, I guess. They're not on, it's something that they're doing to prepare.
Right.
And so they're actually, hopefully that's what they're doing, right? If that's what's making them late and they're not just late. But there's only so much of that you can tolerate.
Right.
I mean, if you continue to tolerate it, it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's like bad behavior. If you tolerate bad behavior, they're going to keep having bad behavior.
Especially if it's the same person. But,
yeah, and I tend not to keep shooting with people like that because that's annoying.
Yeah.
And, it's disrespectful. So if we set a time,
Yeah, I know for him, we pretty much have solidified that for the most part. But then if I can be there, I like to be the person that's like with the angles as much as I can, because I know you guys looking through the camera don't always catch it. And I'd be like,
my wife does the same thing.
Hair bands.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we always forget to check for hair bands. I'm always like, we're like halfway through the shoot. I'm like, we forgot to check for hair bands.
Hair
bands,
had it on. Tags sticking out. How many of those have you photoshopped?
A lot. A lot.
To angles, I'm always like, I taught him a lot about, like, I don't care what size a woman is or isn't, having her be in the right angle, she looks amazing. She could be the smallest person in the wrong angle, and all the shoots are horrible.
And she taught me that, and every time I work with, especially female models, like it's I hate to say it, but I've known. I am known out there as the angle person because I'm always shooting in just different angles, but like that's because she taught me that, like how to pose a woman and ensure that they're flattering and they don't have any type of back fat or rolls or but it's like you said, it's just a simple moving of the torso or stretching up a little bit more, so all those play a big role.
You want to see the arch of the back, and if their arm is right here,
right.
it's covering it up like this, you can't see the curvature of their figure.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I always tell them, create letters with your body.
Yeah.
Like create an S, create a K, create, something that like you're saying with the different angles and the different openings, it creates the eye has a tendency to look at things differently when there's a certain shape and angles that it's looking at. You're like, oh, she's an amazing. You see her in person, you're like, oh, yeah, what a great photographer.
How many times have you told them, okay, just give me an S curve, and then they can't do it? And then have you been able to do it? I can't do it. No. I can't do an S curve for anybody, right?
So I can't display that. Maybe on you guys' wall somewhere you have do this. You see that? You see that? Do that.
I've thought about that, of just making that board right there, and just put a big
pose board.
Pose board,
so they can just see it right there, and they don't
do this one right here.
Yeah.
Do this one instead of flicking through your phone or a book. Just it's up there on the wall. I've thought about putting 40 poses up there, from standing poses, sitting poses. Chair poses, floor poses.
Yes. That'd be good. That'd be super helpful.
Laying down poses, couch poses, the whole thing. Make a whole board. I never use the black side of the board, right? There's a black side. Right. Maybe I'll put it on the black side. I use the white side for reflection sometimes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we could do the same thing because we have a little.
That would make you guys' job a lot quicker and faster.
Yeah, just say, do this.
Yep, do that right there.
Yes.
Do that right there. And so instead of
trying to go through your phone while you have music playing, or while you're trying to do a video.
Or you're trying to think what poses they can do.
Right.
You just do that right there.
Yep.
Good. All right. You can do any of these right here. It'll be fine.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's smart. I'm going to have to do that.
I'll have to follow up with you guys and see how you do. Well, I'll follow up with him. I'll know. We'll have to check in with you, Greg, and see how that's going for you.
Do a follow-up podcast.
Yeah, a few Pinterest
follow-up
searches, and some screenshots and downloads and
IG. I follow certain people, and I tell Lee to send them to the models, especially for the new ones. Just watch this, rewatch it, keep watching it till you get it down.
There's probably several dudes. There's a dude that does walking.
Is he
like
Asian?
Model walking, yes.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about,
yes.
right? I started following him a little while ago. I'm like, this dude is money, man. I'm going to send this dude to every model that
with
can't
heels
walk.
on.
Yeah,
yeah, he does it with heels and everything. He's like
the same one that we be watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really good. He's amazing. I'm like, his skill level is like over the top, but it is really good to explain it to the girls. Like, just watch these videos and I'll send them to Lee and have him send it to the girls.
Yeah, and this is a fashion walk. This is a pageant walk. They're different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Here's how to walk when you hit your mark at the end of the runway. Here's the different things you can do. You know, he does all those things. So,
yeah.
And you go into Instagram University now.
There you go. The universities, I love it.
All right. Concrete Rose, real quickly. Let's talk about that. Is there anything, talent management? I noticed that did that start recently, or did you just get involved with that recently?
No, it started recently.
Okay.
They opened up like a couple of months, I want to say about a couple of months ago, and I was thinking about it, wasn't sure, but I don't know any media or photographers or videographers that are managed. And so I thought about it and I was like, I think that's another avenue of networking.
Definitely.
You know,
and I've
so,
definitely thought about that because,
right.
you know, in the bigger cities like LA and New York, photographers have an agent.
I didn't know that. Do they?
Yeah, and they take a cut, but they get you work.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
That's smart.
So, Sierra's amazing, and she handles all my bigger clients that I can't handle or anything that I want to do. I just let her know, and she'll handle it for me. Like she'll do all the negotiations and everything like that, which saves me time.
Yeah. From
doing that. So right now we have a couple of things in the work. Like we have there's a client out there that we may be doing. I could say may, but we're solidifying the eaches, and we're going to be doing a documentary on.
Okay.
And initially the client had came to me, and this was just bigger than me. So I, referred her to my manager, which is Concrete Rose, and she handled everything. So we belong. So now it's me, Jason X, and Daryl. We are the media team, and so anything that comes through the management company, whether it's let's say Minority Fashion Week that's coming up, which it is.
Daryl who?
Daryl, he goes by Daryl. Oh, dang, what's his last name? He goes by Daryl. Hold on, let me.
Little Daryl?
No, not little Daryl.
Well, there's one Daryl that I know, and I think he's
an older gentleman.
With Michonne models a little bit.
Daryl E. Edwards, yeah, that's him. So Daryl E. Edwards.
J&K, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, so
we've been following each other for forever.
See, that's what I'm saying. So him, Jason X, and myself, we're a media team. And so anything that comes through the company, she'll put us on it, and anything that is dealing within like the models and things of that nature inside the management, we do all the videos, the pictures and the headshots, things like that. So we got a couple of things coming up that we're doing, like Minority Fashion Week. We got that documentary coming up, and a few others. We're going to be going to New York for New York Fashion Week next year in February, not this year, but for February timeframe. So yeah, there's a couple of things that is on the schedule for us, but it's been amazing. Like she's awesome. Like the management is awesome. She's also handling my birthday plan. She's my birthday planner.
For his 50th.
For my 50th birthday.
I accepted the invite on Facebook.
Yeah. So
thanks for inviting me.
So that was.
I don't know if you invited me, but I saw it out there.
So that was basically an initial, just to kind of get people to kind of know what they were looking at, but the more official request or the official announcement is going to come to you. She's working on all that right now, but like she works for us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And cool. She's amazing, totally amazing.
So you'd recommend getting an agent?
Oh yeah.
So, and is she an agent? What does she call herself?
Company.
She's a management company.
Management company. So she's a manager basically.
Yes.
Manager, agent. Yeah.
Not an agent.
I would highly recommend doing something like that. And the reason I say that is because sometimes you guys will devalue yourselves.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
And not not charge out of whatever, you know, just the way the photography field is, right? There's a lot of competition, just whatnot. When you are your own entrepreneur, your own business, right?
Right.
Like Lee, he has a tendency to lower his prices and or his time.
Just because it's fun.
Yeah, because it's a passion.
Right.
It's his passion. He just wants to. He really wants to do, like, for example, a documentary, right? He probably would have taken less because it's something new. I wanted to do this anyways.
And I could get the experience.
I can get the experience. It would be great, you know, networking and all those things. Not to say that all those things aren't true, but then you have your management that comes in and it's like, this is what we will only accept. Where if you leave it in the hands of maybe you guys, there's a lot of wiggle room, right? Well, can I just pay you this much? And then when we get closer, this much. And before you know it, your time has been committed to something and it may or may not happen, right? So now you can't schedule anything new because you've already obligated yourself to this particular venture that you're about to go on. Where with the management, they're going to keep that person accountable. They're going to make sure all the T's are crossed. They're going to make sure that the money that you should be getting, you will get, and there is no other way. And she's not going to deal with him until it's time for her to deal with him. The person that wants to do the documentary, they're going to go. Everything's going to go through your management. Yeah. So that's where that protection comes in place, and it guarantees that you don't have to deal with the BS that someone else can deal with it, and you can continue doing whatever it is that you're going to do, and let that management do what they're good at.
And that is, I think, one of the things that photographers struggle with besides posing is the business side of things, because they tend to be creatives.
Right.
They tend to be, I don't want to bulk everyone in, but a lot of creatives are kind of introverts, you know. They're not, when you're a creative, you're not, it's not your job to negotiate.
Sure.
It's not your job to know how to, you know, handle money and do all those things and negotiate rates and fees.
Right.
And that's very smart. If you work with somebody, that's what they do.
Yep.
Like just like you and I snap photos and we take video, that's what we do. That's what we're the best at.
Right.
But we're not necessarily the best at negotiating deals, right? So maybe we should have someone advocate for us on that side of things. And
Absolutely.
I think, and when I said they do that in LA and New York, I'm not saying everybody does that, but a lot of people that work with bigger companies, they have agents and managers actually that will go out and negotiate those deals for them.
And it
really
works.
smart.
And it works. And it's been like,
and it alleviates a lot of extra stress.
So much weight and stress off of me, especially when dealing with the bigger.
I've thought about that a lot. I was like, I just want to I want to show up and I want to go camera. Yes. And I want someone to hand it to me and I just want to take the shots and I'm like, I'm out.
And,
you know?
And that's where they come in. Yep. And that's where they come in. And so, you know what I mean? So we have some things coming up and it's like, okay, hey, like this week, we have actually tomorrow I have a podcast and then on Friday we're going to be on a radio show. So
Good.
like
with who?
Don't say with who.
See, that's all with his management team.
All I know
Okay. This is tell you to show up.
Yep, this is where we're gonna be, and it's all the males, whether you're a model and photographers. So it's Father's Day's coming up, so that's like the whole spin on that, because the women already had theirs already.
Right.
And so I think it was like around Mother's Day time frame.
All right.
So there's quite a bit of things, you know, and
yeah, and in this particular management group, It's not one that you can just be like, hey, sign me up. Like,
no.
She only accepts. Like, you have to go through a grueling process of her saying whether she feels like you're worth her representing. Right. And it's a small group that she has. So when he came to me and he was like, I have this opportunity, this and that. And I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, great. And he's like, no, I don't think you understand. Like, I haven't even been accepted. Like, I have to go through an interview. I have to go through a process. I have to basically speak on my behalf of why I would be a good person for her to manage.
She accepts excellence.
Yes.
Right.
Already. To the highest.
And if you don't feel or exude excellence in yourself, in your work, in showing what you are capable of, she's not going to accept you.
So she sets the bar high.
Yes, sure. Already. Because if you're not already investing in yourself, why should she invest in you?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you got to be able to invest in yourself, and so, you know, already that takes up like half of the people already, because you got to be able to, you know,
well, in order to attract, you know, elite clients,
right,
you got to have a stable of creatives that can create the content for you, right?
For
that
sure.
are the best.
Right. Yeah. Right? Like, in my mind, when he told me, I was like, it's a no-brainer. It's you. But you forget that not everybody can see your report card. And there are those times where you're going to have to not be so humble, but actually speak on your own behalf. Be like, I kind of am this, you know,
I kind of am a big deal.
I kind of am a big deal. I'm not a small kind of
Smalkine.
I'm not a small kind of big deal. You know how many times we have to explain what Smalkine is? I feel like I should just hit repeat on my, like, record it and just hit repeat here. Just this explains everything here. Just read this.
Yeah.
Because before moving,
we can go to the definition. We can go to Google and
but it's not really
the same thing.
It's not really the same. It'll just come up with like there's it's a slang for something, right? Because in Hawaii they have their own language which they call Pigin, and so it's just, you know, Lee can explain it better than me, but it's their own, basically their own way of how they talk, right? And their own words. But when we were getting ready to move here, and I was like, well, you're going to change your name, right? Like, because people in the States aren't going to understand and know what Smalkine means. Like in Hawaii, got it. Everybody who lives here knows. And if they don't know, then they don't need to know, right?
Yeah, it's your brand.
But he wanted to keep it.
Here we go. The Pigeon Dictionary. No, not the bird pigeon. But this is the Pigeon Dictionary, what Smalkine mean. It says here, used to humbly downplay one's own contribution or effort.
There it is.
All right.
Yeah. So hence he kept the name, obviously, right? Oh, a real quick shout out though to Lee does his own like branding and stuff for himself.
I asked him about that last time you were here. I was like, where'd you get all this swag from?
He does it himself. He just has these visions. However, I will take credit for the new design of the S and the K because I wanted it to be more feminine so that the females could also represent. Because when we go places, he's like, oh, you got to represent, you know, you got to wear the, you know, so people know who you are, that you're with me and we represent, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but I don't like that design. So I'm not, do I have to wear it? Can you create something that's more for the female side? And then go figure, he created for females and he ended up keeping it. So you're welcome.
No, it looks good. I like it.
Right?
Yeah, looks good. I had not seen this design before.
No.
Actually, in anything that you've worn. So.
Yeah, I wanted it to kind of resemble the S, kind of resemble the shape of a woman. So there you go, Lee. You have a problem with the woman not being able to just tell him, look at my S, make your body like this.
Yeah.
And the K.
We got to work on that.
Yeah, we got to.
You know, do an S curve. What do you mean? I don't know. You're supposed to know how to do that.
This picture right here. This picture right here.
All right. Well, on that note, any last words before we go?
Anything else you want to add to or that we haven't spoke of?
No, I'm just going to say.
I would just like to say one thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know a lot of times and I'm sure your wife probably can elaborate on this as well, that sometimes I feel like some women may feel a certain kind of way because my husband works with beautiful models, works with beautiful women, and some of the content that he puts out, some of our couples' husbands aren't allowed to go on the page. They're like, man, you're killing me. I can't even look at this because I don't want to get in trouble. But as his wife, I'm usually the one that's like, no, I stick it out more, or do this, or look this way, or I want to see more of this and that. So it's never like I'm never worried about Lee, whether he's on a shoot with or without me, because I always know that he has the utmost respect for every and all models, and I would never have to worry about there being anyone that could ever come back to me and say anything less than his professional side, because I do know in this industry that there is a lot of other photographers who could take advantage of these inexperienced models.
Creepers.
Creepers. And we've weeded them out, and it's unfortunate, but in any industry, in any field, in any job, you're always going to have that one person, right?
People that are in it for the wrong reason.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And so I never will have to worry about that being an issue. And I do applaud all of the male photographers that are able to look at this on a professional way and never look at it as a creepy way of embodying the model for everything that they are, and not looking at it as a win or a come up or a relationship that you could potentially go in the wrong direction. So
you and my wife would get along real well. I mean, you met once, but at one of the fashion shows, she's the same way.
Good.
She's exactly the same way. And when she can come out, she does, and she'll help me a lot with the posing. And I'm actually like, are you gonna come out? Maybe you can help me with the posing a little bit.
I've gotten better.
And she'll just have ideas that, because I'm so stuck in the technical, in the gadgets and the toys and getting the lighting perfect. Some of the models are probably like, what is he doing? Like, I'm just like, I keep adjusting and adjusting and adjusting like a light. And I'll be like, I'll move it 1 inch this way, and I'll take the shot. I'll be like, that's it. That's perfect now. All right, let's get going, 20 minutes later. But
that's important, because the models don't understand how important the lighting is.
And
how the pictures will come out.
My wife she'll while I'm messing around with all that stuff, she has ideas of what I could actually take pictures of when I get all this going, and what's going to make it look better, right?
Oh, yeah. We have those same. Sometimes we have those discussions, and it's at the end of a shoot, and he's already done. He's like, I don't know, no more ideas. Like, we've done, and I'm like, well, I have this really quick idea.
I've got 1,000 shots I'm going to have to cull through later, right?
And I'm like, no, I have this vision, I have this look, I have this concept.
It's the last shot.
It's the last shot. And so, but it usually ends up being something that, like you said, he didn't see for himself.
Right.
And it usually ends up being like the money shot.
Yep.
Just because you get a
different perspective.
That different perspective, different thought process. We see things in a different way. So when we get a chance to work together, we usually there's amazing chemistry. We're usually feeding off of each other. It's usually like we're right there in the pocket together. And then I usually have all my great ideas at the end. So, which he loves so much.
And she usually are, and they're good. I admit they're good. And then, because at the time I'm like, I'm done. Like,
I'm tired. I'm ready to go.
But then she'll add all these great ideas at the end, and I'm like, okay, come on, babe, let's go. But then those end up being like the really good shots, and I'm like, thanks, those are dope.
I've had that happen before. I've looked at a shot, I've been like, that is a direct result of my wife being involved in this shoot. Right. Yeah, the shot that I just posted.
Right. Yeah. I can imagine if other photographers did that together, what you guys could.
Or if they had another half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can tell with the support that you get from her.
Have that.
I get the same thing too. And
awesome.
There's always just having that different perspective and that partner, right? That's going to basically tell you when you're either not seeing it or you're wrong, or they're seeing something different, and then you have to be willing to open up yourself, right? To accept what she's trying to, get you to do, her vision, right?
Right.
So, and sometimes
I don't. I mean, I see that right then and there, and then until you shoot it, and then you look at you look at it after it comes up, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I resist too. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, can we just go already? Like,
yeah,
I'm glad that I'm not the only one that feels like that.
See?
So you guys go through it too.
You guys understand each other. Yeah. So I feel like that's really good to have that other support element, because obviously you wouldn't want to be doing this if it didn't align with what she wanted as well, right? And so I feel like that's where Lee and I we complement each other, because we have different ways of looking at things, but then we can also see the same things together as well. So it's that give and take, and I'll see his vision, he'll see my vision, and then we'll come together and create this amazing. So anyone who works with us, they get to see that. Yeah. And so like our designer that we work with, she loves that. She's like, I see you guys. She sees us feeding off of each other, and she's like, I love it. She's like, I see him, I see you, and then together you guys are like a dynamic dual team. So I think it's just really unique if you can have that. Not everybody can work together like that all the time.
So we actually have a name for that.
Is this a pigeon?
No. We have a name for that we actually go by, and we haven't really used it since Hawaii, and we're known as the power couple. Okay. So that is a thing. It does exist, and we are the power couple, and we our strength is strong when we're in unison. Right. Synced up.
No. Yeah.
Just not during editing time. Sorry. I'm not gonna. I will feed you. Like I don't know how many times I'm like just bringing him food, because I'm just like, how long have you been sitting here? Did you eat?
Yep. She even bring my coffee in the morning and be like, did you have your coffee yet? No, not yet. Because I'm already editing at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. So by the time
I figured you pinged me this morning at 7, and I was like, yeah, he knows I'm awake. Like,
Great minds think alike. Hey, it is good. What it is. It's a good support team.
It is. But last thoughts. I'm going to do everything. I'm still going to be me, still going to do whatever it is that I enjoy doing. And to me, if it's your passion, I don't consider it work. So, as long as you're enjoying what you do in life, just go for it. I mean, you won't know till you do it. And tomorrow's not promised. So, live each day to the fullest and just drive on and be happy.
And network.
Network.
And
network. All right, very good.
Share with others. Never keep what you learn to yourself. Continue to share with others.
That's it.
Yep. No gatekeeping.
No, never.
Mm-mm. No, because that's what you do. I mean, you share it with the whole world. Yeah. And I love that, because I don't think I would be a fan if I didn't see it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And I'm a fan.
All right.
Love you, bro.
Smalkine, big deal.
Smalkine, big deal. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. We're out.
Whew, man, I think that was good, bro. Like amazing. You haven't done a podcast with another photographer or video person, right?